Welcome back, everyone. So now we have an opportunity to go around and we can share those themes that were starting to emerge in our group. And anyone can start. Feel free. It's a popcorn moment here.
There's something around seeing and not seeing.
Right, light and dark. Life and death.
Fear and resistance.
Seems the beginning, one theme at the beginning was a lot about relationships among people, and then it morphed into relationships with animals.
That made me smile. We're animals too, aren't we?
Mhm. Well, there is that, correct.
Yeah. Recognition.
And I think that points to, we think we're different and apart and not the same. And really, I think that there's no separation. In the end, language is the only thing that separates us.
Mhm.
And if there's no separation, the wholeness and love are constant.
Those words just get in the way, don't they? You can communicate without them, it's much better.
I call language or words advanced baby talk.
Actually, I think baby talk before they learn words is actually more advanced and more interesting. I would love to know what they're really saying, 'cause they're using language in a way more powerful way.
Friendship. That was the theme.
I also heard fear and perhaps shame. I'm getting shame from, there was the argument and then the hotel guests are complaining. And then also, it's just how I related that the dream Michael shared, that there was still someone in bed and like not knowing that, talking to the friend and not knowing someone's there and then being surprised.
Yeah, and there's with that there comes like the need to know, like the attachment we have to knowing. And how we feel lost without that.
Mhm.
Hotels were interesting. The idea of being somewhere other than what you would normally be living in, but is still adequately taking care of you. Shelter, a place to stay, it was comfortable, but it wasn't your place. It was some place that you were borrowing. So you were borrowing places to feel contained and taken care of and being able to sleep. Sleep is a really vulnerable time period in one's 24-hour cycle. So
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Like hotels showed up and then beds showed up in a couple of dreams as well. So rest or sleep and being taken care of, with what Ariana said, and then a few other people said that too, I think.
oh, and the word sacred, and not only sacred the word, but sacred places. Middle of the ocean with whales, Machu Picchu, ranges, the nature part. Those are not official sacred like a religious site, but they do have sacredness from my point of view.
Mhm.
And I
And
think that
emotion.
includes
Sorry, Christian.
the animals, another
Mhm.
part of the earth and sacredness.
Love and trust also came up for me.
Mhm.
Definitely love and trust. And also for me, around the whole hotel and relationships, what came up for me is the transitoriness of it all,
Mm.
whether relationships or housing, we're constantly in transit in this life, you know, and it's temporary, this relationship.
Mhm.
And
From
we
one
think we
space to
walk on
another.
solid things, but we really, any moment, there could be a big gaping hole,
Mm,
something deeper.
mm,
Well, and even the thing with the hotel, like having an argument with someone and then finding out other people are hearing it. That's, to me, that's kind of like that gaping hole that there, you think there's something stable and then you find out there's something else.
There was also in this space this vulnerability to share things that were shadow like when there was that talk about Tom Cruise and having some respect for Tom Cruise but then being embarrassed to show that shadow part. I really resonated with shadow, Sade, Shay Day, that's the way I was spelling it. And Sade sometimes always looked to me as sad, the word sad, saddy.
Mm.
Interesting.
Mm. Did somebody mention resistance already? The topic of resistance too. Did somebody bring that up? Can't recall now.
I said fear and resistance.
Uh,
I was very struck by the connotation of the darkness of the ocean with big fish that could be dangerous because because they've been neglected. I found that really fascinating
mm.
because their nature isn't to be aggressive. When they're neglected, they become aggressive, and that's from my point of view. But maybe they just need something that if I knew what that was, the aggression would be gone because I might be able to help.
Interesting. So, Christian, you said the whale was breaching, and breaching means to what when it comes to a whale? Turning over?
It's when they jump out of the water and go back in. And maybe they go in
Interesting.
backwards, you know.
Right. So going back in, and then there's the hole in the ground.
Mm.
And we were talking about like cats getting lost going into the hole. There's something about that. I don't know what the theme is necessarily.
And Matthew breached a birth.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Mm,
For me, in the dream, what was the powerful part was the whale coming out of the water and the sunlight shining on it. So that kind of goes back to the shadow and the light, the hidden and the
Yeah.
seen, the emergence.
Yeah. So
Mm.
exactly. So the hole in the ground. It's funny what was talked about was what could fall in versus what could emerge.
Right. Mm.
The hole was consuming too. It would take. It wouldn't give back.
mm,
So, and now this is reminding me of the non-duality, that it's both falling in and emerging at the same time,
Mm.
right? And maybe there's something about when we surrender and allow ourselves to fall, we actually emerge.
mm.
And also, what goes up must come down.
Right? Maybe there's no up or down.
Right.
Transcending the dualities. Yeah.
Mm.
Is that I don't even know if I know what I'm talking about here, but the phrase implicate orders, what just popped into mind when we were talking about emerging and consuming and emerging.
Yes, they are used to describe two different frameworks for understanding the same phenomena.
Yeah.
So like we're talking about emergence and falling, up, down. There's a relationship there. I don't know much about it, but I just took it real quick.
And that shade, you know, whether it's dark or light, and we can control it by where we put the shade. The window shade.
The image I always think of when I think of implicate order, and I haven't stepped into quantum physics in many years, but it's like kind of getting lost in ribbon waves, and something gets pulled in and then it emerges in a different form and it gets pulled in again, and it's just kind of a continual combustion and recombustion of energy.
Well, and everything has a unique frequency, and a frequency is a sine wave, which is what you're describing. So everything has that.
Right, right.
Including our DNA.
Mm. Right, right.
Which of course is attached to the serpent.
And the fish swim like that.
And the fish. Which mythologically represents the divine knowing, divine knowledge.
What comes up for me is the samsara, the life cycles, in and out and in and out, the waves that come and go and come and go.
The circle of life.
So this is awesome. Yeah, so like we think of the whole, like we're gonna fall and keep falling, right? But there's waves. So yeah, we might go down, but then if we trust enough, we're coming back up. And there's just the rhythm, right? The rhythm of frequency, the rhythm of our own process, the rhythm of Mother Nature, the rhythm of the female.
Well, and that deer,
and what's possible if we go ahead.
That deer that apparently fell off the cliff into the water, and so it's not coming back up. At least I wouldn't experience that in the physical form, but we don't know how it emerged after it died. You know, and that ties to me when we talked about normal and awareness, that my awareness is outside of knowing what emerged after that deer died. So I don't know what's normal. Matt, I love whatever hits you're getting. You look
just
like
unlimited possibility.
Just loving this. It's just fantastic. Around normalcy, what was coming up for me is how we attack again what we don't know, or we try to protect or attack it. And that came up with specifically COVID and masks, like the new normal, and it's this fear, it's this protection or wanting to, isolate. And so that's what comes up for me around normal or normalcy.
And that brings the shades up to me again, that like these things, like in protecting, we pull the shade down. We don't want to see it. We try to control it.
Right. If I think I know and I think you don't know, then I have to push you away.
Pull my shade down.
There'll be no shade for you.
I think it's safe to say none of us are really normal on what normal scale is. And thank God for that. We all fit right into this non-normal spectrum of whatever.
The theme of familiar and unfamiliar showed up. That did show up.
What way?
I know I spoke to it like there's familiar and unfamiliar. and how normal doesn't really, I don't know what normal is. And then there's the desire to release and let go of anything that's familiar.
Mm.
And I think Maddie mentioned something about familiar somewhere along the line. I could be making that up in the moment, but that's what's coming into my mind.
I was really just so moved by all the synchronicities, like Matthew talking about the white Bengal tiger, and then today a white dog came up to me, and then the whales. Today my friend just told me about a whale watching. So there's so much synchronicity in all of this. Amazing.
And I bet there's so much we miss
Mm.
when we're not open to those connections.
When we don't have our shade up.
That's right.
Matthew likes the big hole in the ground, and I like the shade. We keep going back.
Group of men working underneath ground. I stumble upon this manhole. I hear them down there, and basically they're resurrecting a spectacular ancient underground palace that's filled with gems and beauty and gorgeousness. So it's interesting to have sometimes those ideas where there's nothing, it's rubble, or there's just this great gold.
So it's interesting, Ariana, how there was this deep knowing that showed up for me towards the end of what you were saying around how there are gems, rewards, and gold down in the darkness.
And pick like 2, maybe 3 that stand out to you. You don't need to have it make sense intellectually, just that something just resonated.